I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling. Bitch, I'm humbling, keep mumbling. I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing. You've got nothing, I'll keep hustling.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Miguel Malenciano, and this is Evolution Angler Bassin. Made it back to another season of What's in the Box. Alright, so before we jump into the baits, just want to make one quick note. Things have shifted around a little bit. We're definitely still going on with What's in the Box, but the way we're going to do it, of course in true finesse fashion, we're going to slow things down just a tiny bit. Instead of me throwing 4, 5, 6, 7 baits at you all at once, which I may still do on occasion. There's times of the year that call for that. What I want to do is just slow down, do 1, maybe 2 baits at a time. Get you as much information on those 1 or 2 baits, be able to get my videos out a little bit faster, and that way we can do extras like go fishing, do how-tos, really exploit the power of these baits that I'm going to be talking about. Also, it gives you a chance, if you're not proficient in a certain style of bait or a technique at a certain point of the year, to slow down as well and really pick up how to throw the bait, pick up how to catch fish on the bait, pick up where and when, these little things. So apart from that, you know, I'm just super excited to get as much content out to you guys. So enough yapping, let's get right into the bait. Alright, so the bait that we're going to talk about this week is going to be the Megabass Dark Sleeper. Give you guys a little up close look here. And this is a top quality, super sexy bait. This is the dark shad color right here. This bait gets the job done. It gets big. Alright, so first things first, it's going to be available in 3 sizes, a 2.4, 3-inch, and a 3.8-inch size. In those sizes, you're going to have different weights available. Those weights are going to range from 3/8 ounce anywhere up to a whole ounce. And since we're on that subject, we're going to stop the train right there just for 1 second. This right here happens to be the 3-inch, but the smallest weight, 3/8. Just know that across the board, because of all the plastic hugging around that weight, because of fins, because of the paddle tail, so all factors considered, pretty much across the board, it's gonna fall about 1 weight lighter than what it really is. So an ounce is gonna fall and act and behave like a 3/4. 3/4 is probably gonna act and behave like a half. A half down the line, like a 3/8, so on and so forth. That's definitely one thing to consider, how you're going to want to exploit this bait, where and when you're going to want to throw it. So consider the weight size. It's always going to act like a weight that's a little bit lighter. They're going to have about 10 to 12 colors. Again, I got the dark shad and I also got the Matsugoru. Why did I get these 2 colors? Pretty much simple. It's early spring here in my part of the country, here in New York, and you know, these fish are beginning to transition from where they were deep in their haunts all the way out, start migrating shallow, but along points, right? Along migratory points. So they're going to transition to these points. Some are going to start to think of pulling up. Some are even going to start to feed. Some are even going to sun. The bigger females will come up and sun in the shallows right away. Keep that in mind too. That's deadly. And that first wave that do come all the way shallow, it's mostly going to be your bucks starting to jockey for position. But again, keep in mind, you are going to have a couple of your bigger, absolute giant females coming up shallow to eat some real quick and to warm up on those sunny days. So these 2 colors are going to match the hatch for me, because the Matsugoru's got the blue specks, So it's perfectly gonna imitate like a blue cross, especially around rock, especially around shallow wood. Any situation like that, it's gonna imitate a blue craw, which remember is a high protein meal of choice this time of the year. And then the dark shad, I mean, look at it. I have shiners personally around most of the bodies of water, not every body of water, but looking at this, look at the green, look at that mustard gold. And then on the bottom, it's got that dark, sort of reddish, can pass almost as an orange. To me, in a little bit stained water, this is gonna get hit real quick as a golden shiner, which is a preferred meal of bass any time of the year, I promise. So I turn to this bait, especially this time of the year, because A, it is finesse, at least in the presentations that I'm fishing, and I prefer to go finesse a lot of the times, I'm not gonna lie, I'm more a finesse angler. And B, a lot of guys, especially up north around here, my parts of the country, where you actually get ice around this time of the year, around ice out, are super hungry for a bite. But still, you know, the waters are cold, a little reluctant to go launch a boat right away. Some of us do. I've been out on my kayak a couple times. Nothing too crazy, not too deep water. So what does that mean? It means a couple things. Your smaller bodies of water are gonna warm up first, which means they're gonna ice out, they're gonna have fish in them that are active before your bigger bodies of water. B, anglers know this, and we're hitting the bank. We're hitting the bank on these smaller ponds, on the mid-sized lakes, anywhere where it's shallow. We're talking 10, 15, 20 feet of water at the deepest. Also, this bait is gonna be deadly from the bank. You know, it's finesse presentation, again, the way I'm fishing it. And also, look at that, it's weedless. Look at how perfectly weedless that is. It's got a nice flap, it's got a nice beefy hook. You know, not a gaff of a hook either, but a nice healthy hook on it. And also, this bait is super versatile. So let's talk about the actual bait for a second. This bait is so confused it doesn't know if it's a swim bait or if it's a jig. So it's gonna be weighted along the bottom, right along the belly, right before the throat. So at low center of gravity weight, it's gonna be perfect for skipping, it's gonna be perfect for pitching into laydowns, it's gonna be perfect for, depending again what size you're using, exploring bottom structure, for hopping, for dragging, and also it's a swim bait, perfect for swimming. Slow rolling, just hopping along the bottom, slow rolling, hopping along the bottom, switching up, switching up. Then, you know, you match that with the fact that it's weedless, and now you can do a lot of things. Pick apart bottom structure, go right at laydowns, cut right through the heart of any still remaining vegetation or new emergent vegetation that you may find along the way. Again, it's got a nice healthy hook with the flaps to get right out of the way. I mean, these flaps are real nice and soft. They will collapse super easy. And the bait is super realistic. It's got even better colors. And the best action for this, I'm gonna say, is gonna be half swimming it, half hopping it, pretty moderately along the bottom, whether you're shallow or whether you're deep, doesn't matter. One downside to the bait, I'm not gonna lie, is durability issues. The one bait you're not seeing with me in my hands right now is the Matsugaru, and that's because I tore straight up through the bait. Did not make it, sadly, to this episode. However, I'm gonna go as far as to say that it is the Senko swim baits, especially in this unique presentation where it's weedless and have a lot of jig attributes. It's a unique bait. It gets bit. Flat out, it just gets bit. Personally, I'd order a handful if you are gonna go for this bait. Not necessarily a dozen or 2 dozen, but get you 5, get you 6. If you can't afford 5 or 6, get 2 or 3, but at least 2 or 3. The gear to use. If you're using this as a lighter weight bait, you can use a spinning rod for the ultra small, for the ultra light version of this bait, and that's fine. You could even get away with 6 pound line, doing that 6 pound fluorocarbon line. But remember, you're gonna have to be far and away from weeds or anything crazy like that. And really, this bait is meant to explore that kind of stuff. But every bait has its time and place. If you're gonna use this bait in the lighter weights, a medium, fast tapered bait casting rod will do the job for you. And I pair that with a 6-speed reel. This isn't a burning bait, you can, but stay with a 6-speed reel. If you're using this bait in the weights of 3/4 and better, then you're gonna wanna bump up to a little bit heavier rod. I'd say heavy rod, heavy bait casting rod, fast action. Also, in either event, you could stick with the 6-speed reel. Reason being because, again, you're not necessarily looking to burn this bait, but a 6-speed reel is going to be enough that if you get into trouble, it could be enough speed to get you out of trouble. What lines? Lighter weight, like I said, if you're using the lightest of the lightest, then go with about 6-pound line. Other than that, you can stick 8 to 10-pound line. Straight up fluorocarbon. I wouldn't even mess around with braid. Reason being because you're fishing a little bit more shallow with the lighter weights. I wouldn't be so intrusive into vegetation or so intrusive into a laydown where you're necessarily going to break off. This is more for exploring shallow flats and that first or second break line. You're gonna get mostly a clean bite off of this other than getting into trouble. Now, if you're using 3/4 or better, definitely you're gonna wanna stick to about 40 to 50 pound braid with about a 15 or a 17 pound leader. Why? Because now we're using heavier weights, where you are gonna explore that heavier structure, where you are gonna toss right into the heart of a laydown. Essentially flipping and pitching. So, you may want to use this on a flipping and pitching stick, and you are going to act like you're flipping and pitching or like you're jigging. Treat it like a jig at that point. I'm going to suggest, however, a short leader, because if you're skipping into docks or if you're deep in a laydown, you're going to want more contact with the braid than with the leader. So stick to a short leader, 3-4 foot leader. Where and when? Again, speaking to the smaller sizes, specifically the 3-inch and the 3/8, you're gonna want to find the back of the coves, secondary points leading to the back of those coves, and I'd start out there first, because remember, these fish are transitioning. They're coming from where it's deep to where it's shallow. Ultimately, they're gonna end up in the back of the coves, spawning bays. If you're in a bigger body of water and you're using this same weight, then I'd get off the main lake and head to the back of the creeks, and again, those coves, those bays, shallower water. Why is that? Apart from the reason that I just mentioned, also a key factor to remember is that shallower water is going to warm up faster. If you can find what I just said and you add the factor of it being windblown, even better. If you can find what I just said, windblown, and with laydowns, even better yet. Look to work that area where shallow water meets deep, and if you can find, or if you know where you have a creek channel that happens to run through there, do that. If you're fishing after rain, this is a key deal in the spring. If you're fishing after rain, find any inflow of water that you can and fish it, exploit it, especially if it's a little off-colored water. You're gonna wanna pick that apart for a little while. Those are key in the spring. Incoming water, key deal. On the outside grass edges or emergent pad edges, where any kind of structure meets bare bank, that first, that second break line. Then of course, classic laydowns, and if you have submerged rock or stone walls, do that. Those are going to be the deals when and where to fish. In terms of catching a giant, look for the warmest days and the warmest points of those days in combination with everything I just said, and you may pick off a big girl or two. So that's going to do it for the Megabass Dark Sleeper. Go get you one. Go get you a couple. Be sure to comment. Be sure to like. Be sure to subscribe. Guys, get you a Megabass Dark Sleeper. For now, I'm Miguel Melenciano. This is Evolution Angler Bassin. Catch you later.